Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. Now
Right.
it's working.
Yeah, we figured it out now. All right, so how does one start these things?
Yeah. What are we talking about?
I guess this is a sort of a shared meeting space where the intent is to acknowledge this this reality and see what comes up when we speak about it. I think the important thing and what people who would watch a video like this would want to know is what am I getting out of it?
Mm.
But of course,
Yeah,
um,
that's they're gonna be disappointed.
hmm,
Yeah, there's nothing to get. And I guess the suggestion is that this is just all there is. This is it, just whatever seems to be happening.
I think if someone were to watch this video, they would want to know what they're going to get out of it. What's in it for them? What's the point? What's this leading towards? Oops. Uh, and the truth is that there's none of that. There's no point to this. It's not going anywhere. It's something that's never started and it's never going to finish. And it's not an object. It's not a thing. It's not an event. It's not a time period. It's not a state. It's just this underlying, positionless, dimensionless nature of what's already happening. And it's 100% okay what's happening.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what to say, but
There's really nothing that you can say about it, but that doesn't stop words from arising.
yeah, we need a topic. We're not getting off to a good start here. I don't. Yeah, like so, like it's so hard to do these things because like it doesn't feel natural, you know. Like it's not just
Mm,
like a conversation that's just
yeah.
seemingly happening. There seems to be like intent behind this, and that this is going somewhere, and that others are going to listen to this, and it's going to provide some sort of form of value, or um, but yeah, I mean, what else can be said? Like, I mean, it's just this, just whatever seems to be happening, and this isn't understood. This isn't an understanding. So there's nothing to understand here. Nothing is going to be gained. Nothing's going to be learned. Um, it's almost, yeah. I feel like the meetings that I've gone to sort of provided kind of a space where nothing is acknowledged really as a truth, or that and it kind of it kind of just creates this space of where that's empty, where everything is allowed, um, and it kind of gives the person a place to go, um, to de-energize, like to kind of like
Right.
soften what seems to be alive or solid within the body, or to a me. Um,
Well, it feels like anything that has a starting of a narrative, and the narrative has to appear to have an ending.
yeah,
But there's no beginning and there's no end. There's this, it feels like there's a desire here to see this expressed in a way that doesn't reuse so many of these non-duality terms that we
yeah,
hear so much because, and it's not that it's wrong. It's not that I would even say that it's misleading. It's not. It's just, it's ground that's already been tread.
yeah. Yeah, I feel you there. Like, I mean, that's been kind of oh a wish, you could say, um, to like kind of stray away from the normal, like what seems to have been learned here, all the non-dual lingo and language, and try to kind
Right,
of express this in a way that um, feels real and authentic here.
right.
Uh, when it's expressed, and not so much. I mean, everything is sort of repeated, like, but yeah, like much of what is said here, I feel still is kind of just coming from what's been heard, through like the radical message, and it's loved. It's I love the message. I love the radicalness, the uncomprehensibility of it, like, and it seemed to resonate so much here for this character. So I guess that's kind of what I lean to. Um, but and it describes it perfectly here, really, for me. This apparent, experience of just beingness and aliveness. Um, you know, it just describes it beautifully here for me. Um, and so I guess that's why I tend to use it more so. But I don't see it so much really in the posts that I write.
I would
Uh,
agree. Yeah, I've noticed that.
but
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, when I tend to speak about it, that's yeah, it's kind of different. But I don't know, I like, I guess that's just like the creative outlet for me, the creative part of Chris that likes
Mm.
to.
Mm,
be expressed. I like it to be more poetic or poetry than just some message or. But I mean, sometimes they're different. I kind of go back and forth, but
hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of your posts are really beautiful. And I think like creativity is something that seems to happen more and is allowed more to happen here, where it just feels like there's more of an openness to openness and there's less of a sense of responsibility for handling so-called apparent others' personality flaws. It seems like there's a lack, like what coincides with the lack of the interest in the personality structure and the character, whether it's experienced as the first person or perceived as someone else. While that's diminishing, there's also this tendency for this body to express some sort its life based on the experiences it feels like it's been through. And what's really interesting is how natural it feels. How natural this all really is already. It goes on its own. It's going on its own right now. You know, these visual sights and sounds that I'm looking at and that you're seeing. You know, I didn't really choose to be in this chair right now. You could say I ended up here, but I mean, there's no evidence for that actually happening. There can be a memory, but that's just a memory. I mean, the funny thing about all this and wanting to talk about it and this freedom, boundless, infinite, liberation experience, it's only an experience that tries to find another experience.
so that's how it is there. That you're seeking a new experience. You're always trying to seek an experience to bring about something better. Yeah, I mean that's it.
I mean, I'm trying to think about how you could sell this to someone, but there's nothing. There's nothing about this. It's literally it's nothing at all. It's not the word. Like just give it a fucking break. Like just like the most that I could try to communicate is just give yourself the permission to
It's just
fucking give it a break. Like this shit is not important at all.
oh, but yeah, but it's totally important. Oh my God. Like, yeah, I mean, uh, it seems to be like the mind here is still like, like I recall like when when this apparent me was here, like much of what was thought before I was exposed to this message was, I mean, like the primary thing I thought about was women or sex.
Hmm.
That dominated this male mind, and it's so funny how the tides turn, like how it flips. Like so, like there was like all this thinking about sex, and then immediately when I was exposed to this, and there was such deep resonance, it just flipped, and then all the focus is just on what this is, and trying to get this and understand this message. And I mean, it was just like a complete 180. And like now I don't even have time to think about sex or anything else really. Like if there is a still moment like where I don't have something to do, this is predominantly what is thought about. There's no one thinking the thoughts, but at the same time, like there's still so much energy behind it, I think it just comes from this sense of this old sense of importance. Like this
Hmm.
was somehow important to understand or to get. Um, and but now I guess like predominantly it's like thinking like trying to think about ways in which to express this or like I mean because like it's nothing out there that can be understood. It's not something out there that I can grab. So it's really confusing to me why there's still so much thinking about it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it just you know it things can come up where are just like wow, that's amazing. Like I'll think of a new word or something, or I'll think of a new way to express it. Then I'll get home and I'll be like, God damn it, what was that? Like, that was so good. But then
Yeah.
but then it doesn't like seem authentic either. Like if I'm like later on in the day, like if I'm trying to remember something and type it out, like unless it's like completely direct, immediate, like it doesn't feel true anymore.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It feels like the best expressions are those that just happen. They're not precognized in any way. It's just a response to
Yeah,
the situation. And people talk about ego. Ego is just memory of past situations that no longer fit the current one anymore. And it's that disconnect that what the Buddhists call it, that habit energy that creates a sense of tension. And that's all that's wrong. I feel like a lot of I mean you ask someone, what's wrong, right? It's like, well, where do I start, with my body, my family, this country, what we're doing on this planet, not to mention all these different things, name and blame. You have people that have dedicated their whole lives towards studying what they think is wrong, and they get PhDs in analytical economics, you know,
yeah,
esoteric psychotherapies to try to, you know, fix and grasp and change what they perceive to be wrong. And it's all
yeah,
just one feeling. It's all just one discomfort, one tension felt in the body with 10,000 different names.
yeah. All for a sense or need to control. Really, like not knowledge is just really, you know, seemingly just this false assumption that's just projected onto things. And it's not really real. It's just what seems to be happening, and it's it's almost like this outer projection, um, you know, in relation to a subject,
Right, right.
you know.
Yes.
Um, and but when that subject is no longer there, like when it's fully seen that there's just no one behind the eyes, behind in the body, there's no more of that knowledge being projected out onto things. There's no knowledge projecting onto here. And so like there is like this inner and but there's both like this inner and outer projecting.
Right.
You know,
And they arise simultaneously.
yeah. Well, what I mean is like they're just like so like just to kind of distinguish like between there's like two different types of what project what think people or this so-called projecting. Like I'm just using this as a word, but it's not really that. But it's kind of like you can either project on your ideas, beliefs, or other onto things out here, um, or you can project or yeah you're right like yeah it's happening simultaneously. Um, yeah, so you're projecting out here and you but you're also projecting here
Right,
at the
right.
same time. So that creates that illusion of duality that there is a subject and an object. And yeah, and you're right. It's just an immediate response to just this idea or belief that there is two, that there this is separate.
Yeah, it involves this notion that there are things I relate to.
It's yeah, it's just the fact. It's just the belief that the separation is a fact. That there is a subject and object.
Yeah, I'd like someone to find the separation for me and really point out where that is. And no cheating with words, all right? I've never found a separation in a word either, or through a word, or with a word. It seems like that's really what this all is. It's a, I mean, I'm not going to use disclaimers anymore. You could say how the human being evolves, this brain that we have, and the greatest invention we've come up with, which is language, is also our greatest downfall because we believe it. We believe it 100%. When, to share this communication with these other bodies, there has to be a distinguishing of of the boundary of the bodies, right? Between them and these other things that need to be described because we can name and then therefore control them. But to suffer for no reason because of language that is in a cyclical trigger with emotions is a little silly. Right? And I mean, more than anything, it's just not necessary. Because that's really what it is. It's not, this isn't like a selling to you as a solution that's going to improve the trajectory of where you think you're going. I mean, this is the end of going. This is seeing what going really is.
Yeah, can't sell something that can't be purchased.
So it's not about getting to a different state or another understanding or moving on or leaving. It's not about leaving anything behind, even really that you can possibly control. It's it's just interesting that there's this possibility
Yeah.
for a life, a seeming life with where nothing's changed, but everything's changed. And it's not something there's no there's really no way to communicate it. The most the most the most we can do is to give people permission to relax and maybe provide some sort of words that being, a negative inverse reflection of what they might expect can begin to even things out a little bit.
Yeah.
That's really the intention here, it feels.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I actually really like Suzanne's meetings, probably the best. Like, I don't go to them anymore, but I remember, um, it was just, it was a really nice space for people who, who were, heavy in the seeking energy, um, to express and just kind of air it out, their grievances, air out the story, and just express whatever is alive, whatever's true for them in
Right,
that moment,
right.
you know, and it's I don't know, I feel like there is some power in that, in a sense that, like, when the story is being expressed, as long as there isn't another acknowledging that story, it's something different than
Yeah,
what you traditionally get. Like, if you went to a therapist or a psychologist, or even
right.
with to a friend or something, they're going to tell you, "Oh, well, it'll be okay." Yeah, I mean, "Oh man, that's really terrible." You're like, that's a sad story, or they make it feel more solid. They believe, like, they really truly believe that the story is something that's real, that's happening, um, and
They
so
validate it.
and they validate that story, so that way, it just it continues on, and so, like, but in a meeting like Suzanne, like, I think she's found some, apparent value, and some enjoyment maybe in just being there for another, um, to allow that to come out, where they feel comfortable, and safe to express, something that can be, very, um, exposing. It's an exposure, and it can be very uncomfortable, kind of like talking about these things. And here, when there's just a complete openness, like, I remember, like, whenever there was just a letting go of whatever was coming up, like, just spewing it out, like, whatever comes up, like, however this body might be feeling, or whatever story feels real, whatever seems to be, generating this so-called suffering. um that was just what was coming up. Like, it was just, it seemed to, it wasn't doing anything, but it was, in the meetings, like, it didn't, it was never acknowledged as something real. And it provided some sense of relief, in a way. um and some, maybe sometimes that story would be seen as completely illusory, that it wasn't really happening. Other times not. I mean, it just, but but I do know, like, I mean, when I'm with some like certain others that are completely empty, there is this resonance, that is seemingly felt here that um is welcoming and loved. Like it feels like home. Um, it feels like love.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
and maybe that's what I like. I mean, that's probably what I will would like to do at some point. I would prefer it to be very, more intimate, um, with, with maybe those who might be seeking. I don't really particularly care that much to go to meetings where there's a bunch of people who think they're enlightened.
I I'd have to agree. It seems a lot more, the former seems a lot more interesting.
Yeah. Oh,
It,
yeah.
I mean, it feels like,
Sorry, I'm chain smoking here.
oh, it's okay. I'm trying to gather my thoughts. It feels like there's no real difference between, a character not suffering and a no one not suffering. A character's already not even there
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether the character gets it or is denied,
Oh,
or
yeah, 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 yeah,
like they talk about, I hear all the time, well, these radical meetings, we're just starving the character of, any sort of validation. And it's true, but when it's said, there's this subtle implication that
yeah.
that's what's necessary, and it's
Well, yeah.
not like,
Well,
it just doesn't matter.
the problem is that when you acknowledge that it's necessary, then it becomes a thing to achieve or to
Yeah.
become.
Well,
And what's
and you
trying to be
instantly,
accomplished
yeah,
through the message is to de-energize that becoming, that wanting to become something.
right.
It's pointing to what is already immediately this, just this, and it's just too simple. And so like
Yeah,
you know,
I love that. Yeah.
and, I mean, it is. It's extraordinarily simple. And the problem with a lot of these meetings too is that it makes it very complex. Makes it seem like it's something very complex, or it also makes it seem like it's something to achieve. So acknowledging that this
Yeah.
is a thing. Like there is this very real lived thing that seems to happen where the sense of separation, seemingly this energetic belief or sense, seems to fall, seems to de-energize, seems to and when there is that falling away of this separation, the suffering is seen for what it is, like that
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
completely illusory, it was just a
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
complete lie, fabrication,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
projection, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it's and so like in a way, I mean, and this can happen, with a teacher, without a teacher. I mean, it's not a happening. There's nothing, no one that happens to, but at the same time, like there can be this, de-energizing of the story of subject object, um, separation, relationship. And then the relational weight can just seem to fall away. And then it's just always just beingness, just aliveness, just what is. Uh, and so and that's what's longed for. Everyone longs for this, but they think it's going to be something for them. Like it's just, so you got to get them out of that relation story, but the only way that that can be really happen is by doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. Or
and
you could,
allowing them to, it's like, yeah,
we have
go ahead.
45
I'll
seconds
talk
just
about
saying, by the way.
Oh, okay. Do you want to jump on to another one?
I think I gotta go tonight, man.
Okay.
Yeah. I oops.
Yeah, the what is it, 40 minutes? That goes by really quick. I didn't think that would be very. Usually that's about like the time it starts getting juicy, like when
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
40 minutes in. Yeah.
I mean, if we do another one, we're gonna have to cut it together. I mean,
Huh?
do you know how to edit videos?
I have an app.
Sounds like I'll be doing it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
you've got a better